G'day guys, it's your old pal Nick here from the Bulldog Fanatic YouTube channel, and in today's video we are previewing the big game at Marvel Stadium on Saturday night, round 10 of the 2026 AFL season between the Carlton Footy Club and the Western Bulldogs. Let's get into it. So both teams are coming in with very interesting form lines. Carlton, well, they're 1-8, but they were down by as much as 7 goals early in the third quarter last week, but they rallied and got the margin within a couple of kicks in the last quarter, but Brisbane held on and Carlton only lost by 11 points after actually having a very decent second half for once. While the Bulldogs, they came off agonising 2-point win, just beating the Port Adelaide Football Club in Adelaide. So yes, and it's been a very eventful week for the Carlton Footy Club. If you've been living under a boulder, Carlton have sacked, well, actually they didn't sack their coach. Michael Voss resigned as Carlton coach, and in his place as caretaker for the rest of the year will be Josh Fraser, one of the assistants for the Carlton Footy Club, now going to be the caretaker, taking over Michael Voss, who resigned on Tuesday, effective immediately. So yeah, it'll be his first game as caretaker coach, so that will be a very interesting narrative on Saturday night. So I wasn't really a fan of Michael Voss resigning this week because there's the dead cat bounce. The last 12 games where the first game of a caretaker coach has taken over for its first game after the prior coach has resigned or got sacked, the records are 6-6, which is pretty good considering a lot of teams where a coach resigns or gets sacked, mid-season, are usually teams that aren't that good. So for a 6-6 record, that is not too bad. And as a Dogs fan, this feels like deja vu-esque last year, because last year Simon Goodwin got sacked, after round 21 last year, and the D's were playing the Dogs in round 22, and it was Stephen King's first game, and well, the Dogs barely won by a kick, and we were down by 2 goals at three-quarter time, and we had Sam Darcy, Tom Liberatore, Tim English, James O'Donnell all playing. None of those guys will be playing this Saturday, so this feels like very deja vu and a very big danger game for the Bulldogs, despite us being favourites and obviously having a much better winning record than the Carlton Footy Club so far in 2026. Despite Voss resigning and Josh Fraser taking over as caretaker, Carlton have just made the one change with Jack Eisen debuting for them and coming in for them for the injured Adams side, so good on him. And for the Bulldogs, we've made a few changes. Tim English comes down for due to getting that concussion, unfortunately, so it may not just be this week he's out for, so we don't know how long Timmy's out for, but he is certainly out for this week. Also, Lockie Smith gets omitted, and Harvey Gallia, despite kicking the match-winning point, is also omitted. In comes Lewis Emmett, Rory Lobb, and Sam Davidson. So interesting changes. So with Rory Lobb coming in and none of Jed Buslinger, Buku Kamas, or Nick Caulfield coming out of the side, it's probably an inkling that Rory Lobb will be doing the ruck work, and the majority of the ruck work, I would say, alongside Lewis Emmett. Now, I like Louis Emmett. I think he's going to be a really good player for us, but I still think, in my opinion, he's still too raw and skinny for AFL footy. So I am disappointed that Lockie Smith dropped because I thought he did a pretty serviceable job, especially in the last quarter when English was off for the last 10 minutes of the game. So I would have liked to have seen a Lobb Smith ruck tandem, but we're going to get a Rory Lobb and Lewis Emmett ruck tandem sharing the ruck load against Mark Pitnet, and I'm guessing either Harry Mackay or Brody Kemp as second ruck for the Blues, so that will be an interesting battle because Carlton will have an advantage in the ruck this week. Carlton may be 1-8, but I think their record does them a disservice because they've been in pretty much every game so far this year, apart from maybe the Sydney game in round 1 where they got slaughtered in the second half big time. So Carlton are no easy means to beat by any means. I think it'll be a close contest. Both these teams in the last couple of years have had very close contests. The Bulldogs winning their last 3 clashes between the two, but they've all been nail biters and roller coaster type games where both teams have had huge swings of momentum, both for them and against them. So yeah, it's a roller coaster of emotions watching the Dogs and the Blues play from a Dogs and a Blues fan point of view. So I can imagine from a Blues fan's point of view, it's a roller coaster. So I reckon it'll be another topsy-turvy game on Saturday night in front of a big Marvel crowd, which I will be going to. So I don't care how much, just like last week, I don't care how much we win by. Just get the W and hopefully no injuries. Once again, we had an injury last week, so it's just really frustrating and disappointing, but hopefully we get the chocolates and no injuries. That is ultimately what I'm looking for. I don't care how much we win by. I don't really care how we play, just as long as we get the 4 points. But we'll see what happens. The midfield battle will be interesting because that is Carlton's biggest strength of the ground. They have Patrick Cripps, who was fantastic last week and silenced the haters after a lot of people were giving him flack for, Cripper being washed and whatnot. But he was fantastic last week and bounced back really well against the Lions. They have Sam Walsh, who's a running gun machine. They have George Hill, who's returned from the VFL, and he's a really solid player. He may be slow-footed, but he's a really good contesting clearance beast. And of course, they have the classy Adam Chera, who is okay, I guess. But yeah, Carlton's midfield is still the biggest strength, and I think their biggest strength is having Mark Pitnet in the ruck, who's had a really good start to the year. So I am a bit nervous, with no Tim English, how our midfield's going to go against Carlton's biggest strength of the ground, which is their contested and clearance game with their still really good midfield. Look, I want to see improvements this week. The second half was atrocious last week, especially, with the way we were going inside 50. We cannot have that again. And I think back under the roof at Marvel, we should be better at hitting our targets inside 50. We were rushing a lot. We were just rushing a lot last week when going inside 50. And Port Adelaide were just cutting off everything we did. So hopefully we can improve upon that, because I feel we could kick a winning score against Carlton. Carlton aren't a great scoring team, although they can score quick, as shown in the second half last week against the Lions. They can score quick, so we have to be aware of when Carlton do have momentum, because they will get momentum throughout the game. They've pretty much been in every game so far this year, one way or the other. They haven't been really blown to smithereens throughout an entire game, so we got to be on it. We got to prepare for the Blues wave, and we just got to weather the momentum, and hopefully we can punch back with our own good momentum, because that's the type of game I'm expecting, a very topsy-turvy game and swings of momentum between both sides. So yeah, let's just hope we kick the ball better going inside 50, because that second half was excruciating to watch, how we were using the footy inside 50 and the amount of missed opportunities. Can we not kick 1 goal late in a half this time? Because I don't think we're going to win a game by kicking 1 goal late ever again in a half. Final thoughts on this game are, well, I'm terrified. I don't like losing to Carlton. I don't really like Carlton. And yes, we've won the last few against them, but they've been roller coaster games to watch, and they've been agonising and close. So I'm expecting that again. As long as we just get the 4 points and be ahead when the final siren sounds. That's all I really care about, because I am scared of the dead cat bounce game. I feel like the Blues fans and players will just have like a weight lifted off their shoulders, and they'll play with a bit more freedom. Well, I'm scared they'll play with a bit more freedom. So the Doggies just have to be aware that Carlton could come out firing and maybe actually get their second win of the year. So I'm terrified, but I'm going to go to the game. I think we'll win. I think it'll be close. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoy the vid. And as always, go you mighty Bulldogs. See you next time.